Every morning follows the same quiet ritual. Your eyes open slowly, heavy with sleep, and almost instinctively, your hand reaches toward the nightstand for your glasses. You slip them on, blink a few times, and accept the blur as simply part of life now. We tell ourselves this is normal, that struggling to read a restaurant menu, squinting while driving at night, or losing sharpness in familiar faces is just what happens when we get older. We assume our eyes are gradually wearing out, the way any aging machine eventually does. But that passive acceptance overlooks something important, something happening inside your eyes right now that most people are never told about. While you sleep each night, a silent battle is taking place inside your retina. Most people don't realize that the retina, the thin, light-sensitive tissue at the back of your eye, has a higher metabolic rate than almost any other tissue in the body. It burns through oxygen faster than your brain does. That intense activity produces metabolic waste in the form of oxidative stress. If your body cannot efficiently clear that biological damage during sleep, it quietly accumulates night after night, year after year, until the damage becomes visible and permanent. This isn't simply a story about getting older, it's about a nightly repair deficit that, when left unaddressed, leads to progressive vision loss. My name is Dr. Lauren Hayes, and I've dedicated over 3 decades to geriatric healthcare, helping older adults navigate the aging process with knowledge, confidence, and dignity. Today, I want to share something practical and medically grounded: specific fruits, chosen for their precise interaction with ocular physiology that can support your eye's natural ability to repair themselves overnight. Before we begin, I'd genuinely love to know who is watching. Please leave a comment below with your age and the country you're tuning in from. Seeing this global community of older adults taking their health seriously means a great deal to me, and I do my best to read and respond to as many comments as I can. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and liking this video so more people can access this information. The metabolic environment of the aging eye. When we talk about vision problems in older adults, the conversation usually centers on symptoms: stronger prescriptions, reading glasses, cataract surgery. These interventions have their place, but they rarely address the underlying environment inside the eye that allowed the damage to occur in the first place. What we've come to understand through years of clinical observation is that specific nutrients, delivered at the right time, can meaningfully enhance the eye's capacity to repair itself during sleep. The 7 fruits I'm about to share with you aren't random selections. Each one was chosen because of its specific interaction with the biology of the aging eye. Let's begin with a fruit that is often overlooked in Western nutrition but holds a respected position in ocular health research: the gold kiwi. In my practice, I encourage patients to think of food not merely as fuel, but as biochemical information delivered to the body. The gold kiwi sends a very specific message to the eye through 2 compounds called lutein and zeaxanthin. These are carotenoids, pigments that accumulate in the macula, the central portion of the retina responsible for your sharpest, most detailed vision. Their role is to filter out damaging high-energy blue light and neutralize the free radicals generated by daily light exposure. As we age, the natural concentration of these pigments gradually declines, leaving the delicate photoreceptor cells increasingly exposed. Eating gold kiwis regularly helps replenish this protective layer. I specifically recommend the gold variety over green kiwis for older adults because it is significantly lower in acidity. Many of my patients over 60 deal with acid reflux or digestive sensitivity, particularly in the evening. The gold kiwi is much gentler on the stomach while delivering an equally powerful nutritional profile. There's an added benefit worth mentioning. Gold kiwis contain compounds that support serotonin production, a neurotransmitter involved in regulating the sleep cycle. Since the eye's most active repair window occurs during deep sleep, the mild relaxing effect of the kiwi creates a beneficial synergy. My recommendation is 2 gold kiwis, eaten roughly 60 to 90 minutes before bed. And here's a detail most people miss entirely: the thin layer of flesh directly beneath the skin contains caffeic acid, a potent antioxidant. While the fuzzy skin of a green kiwi isn't pleasant to eat, the smoother skin of the gold variety can be washed and consumed, or you can at least scrape the flesh as close to the skin as possible to avoid wasting this concentrated nutritional layer. Now, let's move from pigment protection to circulation, because one of the most common and underappreciated causes of morning visual blurriness is simply poor blood flow to the eye. This brings us to watermelon. Most people think of watermelon as a light, refreshing snack. Biochemically, it functions as a vascular support tool. As we age, the body's thirst signals become less reliable. Many older adults exist in a state of chronic, mild dehydration without ever feeling particularly thirsty. Since the eye is a fluid-filled organ, the vitreous humor that maintains its shape is almost entirely water. Even mild dehydration can cause the vitreous to shift, pulling on the retina and contributing to flashes and floaters. But beyond hydration, watermelon contains citrulline, an amino acid that the kidneys convert into arginine, which then serves as a building block for nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes and widens blood vessels, improving circulation throughout the body. For the aging eye, this matters enormously. The capillaries feeding the retina are extraordinarily fine. Any degree of arterial stiffness or reduced circulation affects these small vessels first. By naturally supporting nitric oxide levels before sleep, you are helping to open the channels that deliver oxygen and nutrients to your retinal tissue overnight. One important detail, the highest concentration of citrulline is found in the white rind, the part most people discard. I suggest blending a small piece of the rind together with the red flesh to capture the full vascular benefit. And please, don't add salt to your fruit. Excess sodium raises intraocular pressure, which is a meaningful risk factor for glaucoma. We want to support circulation, not compromise pressure regulation. As we continue, I want to address a problem many older adults mention but rarely connect to nutrition: difficulty adjusting to dim light. The medical term for this is dark adaptation, how quickly your eyes transition from a bright setting to a darker one. Walking into a dim restaurant, entering a tunnel while driving, or navigating a hallway at night. When this adjustment becomes slow or unreliable, it signals that the rod cells in the retina are struggling to regenerate rhodopsin, the pigment essential for low light vision. Black currants are exceptional at addressing this. These small, deep-colored berries are among the richest dietary sources of a specific class of anthocyanins that have been studied for their effect on ocular blood flow and rhodopsin regeneration. These compounds help relax the ciliary muscle, the muscle that adjusts the shape of your lens when you shift focus, reducing eye strain and fatigue. More critically for older adults, they support microcirculation to the optic nerve head. The optic nerve is the connection between your eye and your brain. In conditions like glaucoma, this nerve deteriorates due to pressure or insufficient blood supply. Regular consumption of black currants supports the fine circulation that keeps this vital connection healthy. If fresh black currants aren't available in your area, a high-quality frozen option or concentrated extract works equally well. What matters most is consistency. Consuming them in the evening so the anthocyanins are active in your bloodstream during the overnight repair cycle. I want to be very specific here, because there's a meaningful distinction that most people miss entirely. I'm not referring to the large, pale-fleshed, cultivated blueberries found in supermarket punnets. I'm talking about wild blueberries, smaller, darker, and biochemically far more potent. Because the beneficial compounds are concentrated in the skin, and wild blueberries have a much higher skin-to-flesh ratio, they contain nearly double the antioxidant activity of their cultivated counterparts. What makes wild blueberries particularly valuable for the aging eye is a compound called pterostilbene. It is structurally related to resveratrol, the well-known compound in red wine, but it is significantly more bioavailable. More importantly, pterostilbene has the ability to cross the blood-retinal barrier, a protective checkpoint that keeps most substances out of the eye. Once inside, it works directly within retinal cells to support DNA repair mechanisms. This matters because your photoreceptor cells are neurons. They do not regenerate easily. Over a lifetime of light exposure and oxidative stress, the DNA inside these cells accumulates damage. Pterostilbene helps activate the cellular machinery that corrects this damage before it becomes irreversible. Think of it as a repair crew working quietly inside your genetic code. I recommend purchasing wild blueberries frozen. They are harvested at peak ripeness, and the freezing process actually helps break down the cell walls slightly, making the nutrients more accessible during digestion. Fruit 3. Red dragon fruit. Our next fruit may seem exotic, but for the aging eye, it offers a genuinely dual benefit that few foods can match. Red-fleshed dragon fruit gets its vivid color from betalains, antioxidant compounds that protect the blood vessels supplying the retina from oxidative damage. But I want to draw your attention to the part of this fruit that most people ignore completely: the tiny black seeds embedded throughout the flesh. These seeds are a meaningful source of omega-3 and omega-9 fatty acids. and this matters deeply to eye health for the following reason. The photoreceptor cells in the retina have the highest concentration of omega-3 fatty acids of any cell in the human body. These fats are responsible for keeping the cell membrane fluid and permeable, flexible enough to allow nutrients in and waste products out. When the diet is deficient in healthy fats over time, these membranes become progressively stiffer, making it harder for the cell to sustain itself. One important note, you must chew the seeds to access their nutrients. If swallowed whole, they will pass through the digestive system largely intact and unabsorbed. Chew them thoroughly or blend the fruit so the seeds are broken down before consumption. Red dragon fruit is particularly useful for supporting retinal oxygenation, addressing the problem from both the vascular side through betalains and the cellular membrane side through its fatty acid content. Half a fruit, roughly 60 to 90 minutes before bed, is the appropriate amount. Fruit 2, goji berry. We are now reaching the most concentrated nutritional agents in this protocol. And for this next fruit, I want to speak directly about the condition that poses the greatest threat to visual independence in older adults, age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. AMD erodes central vision, the vision you use to read, drive, identify faces, and perform almost every meaningful daily task. It progresses quietly, and by the time most people notice it, significant damage has already occurred. Goji berries are, in the context of macular protection, remarkably effective. While many foods contain trace amounts of zeaxanthin, goji berries provide it in an esterified, highly concentrated form that the human body absorbs with exceptional efficiency. I explain to my patients that the macula functions like a target. It receives the full impact of every beam of light entering the eye. Zeaxanthin is the pigment that shields this target from the damage that accumulates over decades of exposure. Increasing your dietary intake of goji berries has been observed in clinical settings to increase what we call macular pigment optical density, essentially thickening and reinforcing the eye's central protective shield. A practical note, dried goji berries can be tough and difficult to chew, particularly for older adults. I recommend soaking 2 tablespoons in warm water for 10 minutes before eating. This rehydrates the berries, makes them far gentler on the teeth, and improves how effectively the stomach can break them down and release the nutrients. Fruit 1, papaya. Our final fruit addresses a different but equally important structure within the eye, the lens. While much of our conversation has centered on the retina, the lens deserves equal attention. Clouding of the lens, cataracts, remains one of the most common causes of vision impairment worldwide. This clouding is frequently the result of a process called glycation, in which sugar molecules bind to proteins within the lens, causing them to stiffen and lose their transparency. Papaya contains an enzyme called papain, a proteolytic compound that helps the body break down damaged and misfolded proteins, while also reducing the inflammation associated with glycation. Beyond this, papaya is an outstanding source of vitamin C, which naturally concentrates in the aqueous humor, the fluid inside the front chamber of the eye. Low vitamin C levels in this fluid are closely associated with accelerated cataract formation. Eating fresh, ripe papaya regularly helps provide the antioxidant environment the lens needs to remain clear. One helpful preparation tip: add a small squeeze of fresh lime juice over your papaya before eating. The acidity helps stabilize the vitamins and supports absorption, particularly for older adults who may have lower stomach acid levels. 5 rules of absorption. Understanding which fruits to eat is only part of the equation. In over 30 years of clinical practice, I have seen many people invest in healthy food only to absorb a fraction of its potential benefit, simply because they weren't aware of a few fundamental rules. Rule 1, separate from calcium and dairy calcium, while essential for bone health, can chemically bind to certain antioxidants and flavonoids in the digestive tract, forming complexes the body cannot absorb. The protein casein, found in milk and yogurt, has a similar effect on many berry-derived antioxidants. If you consume your fruit immediately after dairy products or alongside a calcium supplement, you may be significantly reducing the nutritional value of everything you just ate. Allow at least 90 minutes between calcium or dairy intake and your fruit-based eye health snack. Let the fruit stand on its own so the digestive system can process it without interference. Rule 2, always include a small amount of healthy fat. Lutein, zeaxanthin, vitamin A, and vitamin E are all fat-soluble. Without fat present during digestion, these compounds cannot be properly absorbed. They will simply pass through the system unused. You don't need a heavy meal before sleep. A few walnuts, a teaspoon of flaxseed oil, or a small piece of avocado is sufficient. Research shows that pairing fat-soluble carotenoids with a small amount of dietary fat can increase absorption by as much as 50%. It's a small addition with a significant physiological return. Rule 3. Wash gently with cool water. We're naturally inclined to scrub produce thoroughly, but with berries in particular, the beneficial compounds are concentrated in the outer skin and the natural surface coating. Hot water and aggressive scrubbing can strip these away. Rinse your berries gently under cool running water, just before eating them. Don't wash them hours in advance and leave them sitting wet. This accelerates degradation and encourages mold. Treat the skin of the fruit as the most medicinal part, because in many cases, it genuinely is. Rule 4. Allow fruit to reach room temperature. This rule is especially relevant for papaya and its enzyme, papain. Enzymes are sensitive to temperature. If you eat papaya directly from a cold refrigerator, the enzymatic activity is significantly reduced. Cooking destroys it entirely. The most effective option is to remove your fruit from the refrigerator 30 to 60 minutes before eating. Allowing it to warm to room temperature reactivates the enzymatic potential and supports better digestion, particularly important for older adults whose gastric motility has naturally slowed. Rule 5. Eat within the right time window before sleep. Timing is the most critical rule of all. The goal is to have these nutrients peaking in the bloodstream precisely when the body shifts into its deepest overnight repair cycle. Eating 5 minutes before sleep risks acid reflux and disrupted rest. Eating 4 hours before bed means the nutrients may already be metabolized and cleared before the repair work begins. The ideal window is 60 to 90 minutes before sleep, enough time for the stomach to empty into the small intestine where absorption occurs, ensuring a steady nutritional supply to the eyes throughout the night without interfering with sleep quality. Closing. By understanding what your eyes need biologically and respecting the chemistry of the foods you eat, you can take a meaningful, proactive role in protecting your vision. This is not about a miracle solution. It is about consistently providing your body with the precise tools it needs to do what it was designed to do: repair, restore, and protect, night after night, year after year. I hope this has been clear and genuinely useful to you. As always, please speak with your own physician before making significant dietary changes, especially if you are currently taking medication. And please don't forget to leave your comment below. Tell me your age, your country, and whether you've experienced any of the vision changes we discussed today. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for being here. Here's to seeing the world clearly for many years still to come. Dr. Lauren Hayes.